We are here with David at BACC. Hello David, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm David Feingold. I'm an anthropologist and documentary filmmaker, and I worked for many years in Cambodia and in the highlands of Thailand and Burma.
So can you give us a brief introduction of your work, career
Yes,
span and everything?
well, this particular exhibition started because several years ago in Paris, some people suggested that I do a selection of photos over my past 40 years of work in Cambodia. And so what we decided to do was to concentrate on both war, because I'd done a lot of work with, my film partner and I did one of the very few films where we went and lived with the Khmer Rouge, and we filmed through the 80s in Cambodia. And then also I did a lot of filming and photography on classical dance. So you have here War, it's a Khmer Rouge soldier in the jungle, and Beauty, which is the beauty of Khmer classical dance. And for Cambodians, as I was in a refugee camp, for example, and in 1986-87, the best Khmer classical dance troupe in the world was in a refugee camp on the Thai-Cambodian border. And in fact, this camp, Site 2, was the second largest Cambodian city in the world at the time. It was about 250,000 people. And one of the premier dance troupes and dance teachers had fled to this camp, had fled from Cambodia through minefields. And as the manager of the troupe said to me, for us, dance is another front of struggle. And by that, they meant the struggle to revive and preserve Khmer culture, which the Khmer Rouge had tried to wipe out. So again, over the years, I had filmed and photographed dancers. And in fact, the dancer who is going to perform today, I just discovered today, I had photographed her when she was 10 years old. And so there is a continuity of culture and tradition. So Cambodia is much more than just disaster and death and everything else. And then another part of the exhibition has to do with landmines, because I did a 3-year study on the impact of landmines in Cambodia. And at the time, Cambodia was the landmine capital of the world. There was one landmine for every man, woman, and child in the country. And landmines are not like other weapons. They keep fighting long after the war is over. It's what I call the toxic waste of war. So in preparing for that, I learned to demine. I'm not a deminer, but I learned to demine. And a British deminer who was teaching me said to me, David, you know, it's rather like a cross between archaeology and landscape gardening. So, you know, he also said to me, it's not dangerous if you don't lose concentration. But in fact, it's very easy to lose concentration, because a mine detector is not a mine detector, it's a metal detector. And it goes beep for any metal in the ground. It can be a bullet, can be a tuna fish can, it can be anything. So you get about 500 positives for each mine that you actually find. So it's very difficult to lose concentration. So when we were doing our film on landmines, which was in from 1993 to 1996, we found Motorola computer chips inside Chinese landmines. And there were two little landmines. One, my late wife, who was a China scholar, said it looked like a Han Dynasty Celadon box. And it only had as much metal as the stem of my watch. So you can detect it, but you need a very carefully tuned mine detector. And then there's another mine that looks exactly the same, It had a Motorola computer chip and a tilt mechanism. So if you tilted it 10 degrees, you had a very, very bad day. And so it made demining much more dangerous and much more difficult. And things have greatly improved after all these years of people doing careful and very dangerous work. But still, there are mine incidents in Cambodia, not like there used to be, and thousands of acres of land have been cleared, but they are still a threat. And when you have somebody who has a mine accident, it isn't over. They have to have prostheses replaced every year. A child who is injured needs a new prosthesis every 6 months on average. So it's something that basically not only impacts the person who is hurt, but it impacts families and communities. And also the big problem at the time when I was working on this was not the number of mines, but the amount of land that was taken out of production. Because if you don't know where the mines are, you don't go out to farm. I don't know if you had other questions?
Yes.